Well, this has been a crazy week. It just dawned on me today that last Friday I posted the Hebrew of Genesis 1:3, but instead of going through and doing my cycle of the Septuagint of Genesis 1:3 and the Vulgate of Genesis 1:3, I just went on Monday and went right to the Hebrew of Genesis 1:4. So, um, of course, this is no big deal to those who aren't my patrons, but for those of you who wanted the Septuagint and the Vulgate on um, Genesis 1:3, I've missed it. So I hope to go back and do this. Um, Interesting. So on Monday, I may do Genesis 1:5 in Hebrew because I'd rather be on a weekly cycle anyway. Hebrew Monday, Septuagint Wednesday, Vulgate Friday. That makes more sense to me anyway. But at some point, I'll double up, and so you patrons will catch up. So anyway, we did the Septuagint of Genesis 1:4 on Wednesday. So let's do the Vulgate of Genesis 1:3, 1:4 today. So et videt Deus lucem quad esset bona, et divisit lecem lucem a tenebris. Um, and God saw light, that it would be good, that it was good, that it is good. And he divided light from darkness says. Okay, so um, here's how it lines up with English. Et means and. By the way, if you know French, that's nice and easy, although the French don't pronounce any final letters. That's not true, but a. Um, so weedit is saw, God saw, again, following the order of the Hebrew. I think Jerome actually did go back to the Hebrew, by the way. He didn't just translate from the Greek into the Latin. God saw the light, this is accusative, that it would be good, that it is good. This is kind of a strange. So, first of all, eset. Uh, you'll notice that both in the Hebrew and in the Greek, they did not have a be verb here. It was just in Hebrew, kitov, that good, and the same, I believe, in the Greek. But Jerome decided to go ahead and put a verb here. This is a form of the verb to be. It's a bit of a weird form because it's subjunctive. More on that in a moment, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, you do have, for those of you who don't know Latin, you do get subjunctives in indirect questions. Um, but and I'm not perfect at Latin. I mean, I do have a degree in it, but that doesn't. What does that mean? I don't teach it. I teach it once every 6, 7 years. It seems like. I do plan to teach it this summer, by the way, online for Houghton College if everything works out okay. So, in God saw light that it was good. For some reason, this is a subjunctive, and I think it's because this is a indirect clause of some kind. And he divided light from darknesses. This is dative plural, or actually, in Latin, it's ablative plural. There's a case called the ablative in um, that a lot of prepositions take the ablative in Latin. That's an ablative plural. And he divided light from the shadows. Okay, so weedit is a verb, and I know grammatically that it's a long I. The normal Latin wouldn't put the macrons or anything, but I know that it is. It is perfect, which doesn't mean the same as in Greek. In Greek, the perfect tense implies that it's completed and the results have continued. The perfect tense in Latin simply means it's done. It's a past tense. It's a bit more like the aorist, I would say, but we call it the perfect tense in Latin. It's active indicative because it is. Third singular. And it's from video, which means to see, right? You watch videos, relates to that. So, and God saw. He saw light. This is accusative feminine singular from looks. Um, by the way, when I go back and do Genesis 1:3, fiat lux, let light be. Okay. Again, this is subjunctive, and it's actually imperfect subjunctive. the imperfect subjunctive in Latin basically takes the infinitive of the word and slaps an ending on it. So esse means to be or not to be. Esse out esse. Um, so if you take the infinitive and you add an ending, third person singular ending, it makes it imperfect subjunctive, third singular. And the word for to be is sum. I am. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Sum, I am. I'm gonna sum. Okay, so, and again, it's because it's an indirect clause of some kind. It's a little bit advanced for my puny brain. Okay, so devisit. This is from DeWido. You know DeWido. He lives down the street. He likes to eat Doritos. Anyway, devisit is the third principal part of this. It's the perfect. It's active, indicative, third singular. There's the it. It is third singular. So there you have a little bit of Latin. So, and God said, God saw the light, that it was good, and he divided the light from the darknesses. This has been the Vulgate for Genesis 1:4. So on Monday, I'll do the Hebrew, Lord willing, of Genesis 1:5, and maybe sneak in for you patrons over the weekend. Actually, why don't I just do it Saturday and Sunday? On Saturday, I'll try to do the Septuagint of Genesis 1:3, and on Sunday, I'll try to do the Vulgate of Genesis 1:3, and then we'll be on a new schedule where Monday is the Hebrew day. Have a great weekend.